companies with multiple products can use incremental analysis to look at varying product lines or brands to see if they want to retain them or discontinue them sometimes if we're having some problems with those. So let's put some data up about 3 different product lines. So let's put up, we'll do kind of a summated income. We'll do sales, variable costs, contribution margin, fixed costs or fixed expenses, either way, and net income loss. Okay, so let's say we've got, I don't know, we'll do colors. We'll have purple, green, and blue product lines. Okay, so purple we've got 300,000, that's a 3. 300,000 in sales, green's got 500,000, blue has 200,000. Variable costs, 150,000, 200,000, and 145. So contribution margin here, 150, 300,000, and 55,000. All right, fixed costs, 120,000, 230,000, and 95,000. So, net income, we've got 30,000 for the purple, 70,000 for green, and negative 40,000 for blue. So you can see blue's given us some problems here. So that's probably why we're going to run some incremental, because management's looking at this, and let's say it's somebody that didn't take this accounting class, and they say, whoop, that blue, well, it's got a negative, we need to get rid of it automatically, right? Everybody good with that? Okay? Well, maybe, maybe not. So that's why we need to use the incremental to see, would it be a wise decision to get rid of this one that's got a net loss of $40,000? Because you would think it's got a loss, we've got to get rid of it. All right, again, here's where we need to consider what kind of costs are involved. These fixed costs, will they go away? So for instance, this blue line, okay, the blue product line, it has a loss of $40,000, but these fixed costs of $95,000, will they go away if the blue line goes away? If they don't, guess what? You're not going to have an increase in net income of $40,000. You're actually going to have a larger loss, because the contribution margin of 55, that's at least paying for a little bit, 45,000 of the 95. That leaves 40,000 left to be paid. So if you just cut all this out and all this 95 remains, you're going to actually be worse off than before you had discontinued the blue product line. So that's what the incremental is going to tell me. Is it a wise decision? So we need to dive more into the fixed costs and find out more about them. So let's look at fixed costs. Because remember, the sales, if I get rid of blue, will the sales go away? Yeah, I'm not selling them. I'm not making them, not selling them. That's gone. Will it get rid of variable costs? So here, look. That's going to go away. Variable, by definition, varies with production. The variable costs, that'll go away. Okay, so there won't be any contribution margin. But will you still have the $95,000? I mean, if you still have the $95,000 in total, then instead of having a loss of $40,000, what's your loss going to be? You're going to have a loss of $95,000. So you just increased your loss by $55,000. I'm sorry, I think I said 45 before. Anyway, okay, change the math. So you're actually going to increase the loss. So I want to figure out, will this go away? All right, or will it go away by part? So fixed costs, they are, here's what those are composed of. Now, if you add up all the fixed costs, okay, you can see your total fixed cost for the company, okay? But out of all that total, 300,000 of it, that doesn't add up to 3,000. What? In fact, let's see. Let's add that up. That adds up to, write that over here, 445. That's my total fixed cost if I add these up, okay, that line. Now that's composed of $300,000 of common costs, and we allocate those based on relative sales. So depending on the sales, we divide those up amongst all of our products. Okay. Now, in addition to that, the purple has, get my numbers right, the purple has $30,000 associated specifically to it. Green has $80,000, and the blue has $35,000. So specific to the product line, you're going to have $30,000 that goes to the purple, $80,000 the green, $35,000 blue, in addition to the common sharing of the $300,000. Okay, those three are associated with each individual product line. All right, so if we get rid of the blue, all right, then what they're saying is this individual fixed cost will be eliminated. So those go with the product lines, but the 300,000 will not. So the 35 will go away, but the common 300,000 will still remain. But now instead of splitting it between three products, again based on sales, we don't divide it by three. Now we're going to have to divide it by the two remaining products based on their relative sales. So all the three is going to stay. This 35 right here for the blue, that will go away. So out of the 95, 35, it'll disappear. But the rest has to be split up between the remaining two, the purple and the green, based on sales. So let's see what things would look like if we got rid of the blue. And there's two different ways that you can do incremental analysis on this. We could just analyze the blue line. If we got rid of it, and I can show you this overall, but if we got rid of it, no, let me do the other one first, because to me, well, okay, I'll show you both. Sorry, don't let me confuse you. Okay, so we still have the purple and the green. Okay, so let's redo our numbers up there. Sales, variable expenses or costs, whichever, contribution margin, fixed expenses or fixed costs, and then net income or loss. All right, let's redo these. So we've got the purple, we've got the green. All right, we haven't changed the sales figure. That's not going to change at all. Okay, and we haven't changed the variable costs because the only thing we're messing with are those fixed costs that now are going to have to be spread amongst the remaining two. So actually we could have really started this with contribution margin because nothing changed up to that point when we discontinued the other product line. Okay, but the fixed cost is going to change. So purple originally had 120 in fixed costs. Now that was 30,000 associated just to it, but then the rest was a share. So for the purple, for instance, let's do some calculations. They're still going to have the 30,000, but now we have to add the shared amount. Okay, so we need to figure out this shared part. Let's do it at the bottom. All right, we said that it was based on relative sales. So we've got a total of $300,000. Right, 300,000. Yes, sorry. I'm sorry. My brain was gone. Okay. Oh, I know why. I'm confusing myself. Okay. We've got $300,000 to split up, I'm sorry, between the two products now instead of the three. But we do it on relative sales. So before, what would have happened is we had $300,000 in sales for the purple, we had $500,000 in sales for the green, and we had $200,000 in sales for the blue. So what were my total sales? You had $1 million in sales, right? So we split it up to the million. So 300,000 out of a million, and we get the percentage of 500,000 and 200,000, okay? But now we only have 800,000 in sales. So I need to get their relative percentages. So for the purple, for instance, we've got 300,000 out of 800,000. So what's their percentage of sales? This comes to about 37.5%. Same thing for the green. All right, they got 500,000 out of 800,000 total. So that comes to 62.5%. So that's their relative percentage of sales. That's what I need to use to split up this 300,000. So I'm going to take the 300,000 And it's the percentage of sales for green is 37.5%. So that means that for fixed cost allocations, we're going to allocate $112,500 to the purple of that 300,000 common costs. Okay, so overall we've got 142,500. That'll go over here. Now for the green, again, we've got 80,000 that is attributed specifically to the green product line. Then we need to do the common allocation. We've got 300,000 total. It's allocated on relative sales of 62.5%. So that means that we're going to get 187,500 out of the common that gets split up to the green. So that means that in total we've got 267,500. That goes here in total fixed cost for the green product line. So now purple, taking that new fixed allocation in, we've got a profit of 7,500, and green has a profit of 32,500. Okay, so you should see these went down because they had to share in the fixed cost allocation. Now I didn't do a total, but let's just see if we add these up. What's my total? I'm going to make some lines. What's my total net income for the whole company now? $40,000 is now the total net income for the entire company. Okay, what was it before? Go back up to the top. All right, we've got $30,000, we got $70,000, we got negative $40,000. So what was my total net income here? $60,000. So 60,000 was our total company net income before. Now it's 40,000. Doesn't seem like discontinuing it did us much good. And let me show you an alternate way to look at it. This is one way, okay, this analysis here. But let me erase this. So if you need to look at this, pause. I'm about to get us a new sheet. Okay. Well, now I'm considering, do I need some of these numbers? Let me talk through one thing and then I'm going to write it down. So again, before we said that if you discontinued the blue, and I tell you what, I'll just erase the bottom part down here. If, get this bigger, maybe. Oh, technical difficulties. Okay, I'll talk while I do this. No, we'll just do it in a minute. If you were only talking about, okay, you're going to get rid of sales, you're going to get rid of variable, but the 95, okay, you're going to get rid of 35,000 of that, right? So how much are you now left with? Okay, you're going to save the 35,000, but you've eliminated the 55,000. This is what we talked about before. Before you had 55, you were contributing towards the 95,000 total. Well, you don't have the 55 anymore because you've eliminated the product line. So you've gotten rid of $35,000 of the fixed costs, but the rest of those fixed costs remain. So you're left with the remainder to split up. So this is why I say let's look at it in another way just to see if it might clarify. Hang on. Let me delete this out for you. Okay. So let's put back up just the blue line. So I'm going to do an incremental where we're just actually looking at the one that we're getting rid of. So I'm going to put back up our sales, variable expenses, contribution margin, fixed expenses, and net income. All right, so if we keep the blue line, or if we discontinue the blue line, and then again our net income increase or decrease or differential income. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to label it. All right, if we keep it, it stays exactly the same. So these are the same numbers we had before. We had 800,000. Erase. 200,000. We had 200,000 in sales. We had 145,000 in variable. Contribution margin was that 55, which was good. Then we had 95 in fixed costs, and we had net income of negative 40. Okay, again, the contribution margin is good. You have a positive to pay for some of these. Just didn't pay for all of them. That's why it's negative. If contribution margin was negative, get rid of it automatically. No questions asked. Okay? All right, discontinue. So if we discontinue, we're not going to have any sales. We're not going to have any variable costs. So we're not going to have any contribution margin. But will we have fixed costs? Well, we said that you'd get rid of the 35 that was dedicated to this product line. That will go away. So that means that the rest of it we still have $60,000 that we have to do something with. So now we're going to have a loss of $60,000 if we discontinue this. All right? So again, we're going to decrease net income 200,000. We're going to increase it 145. So right now we're decreasing it for the 55. We're going to increase it by 35 because we're going to save 35,000 in fixed costs, but because we took away the contribution margin, overall you should see that your net income goes down 20,000, which is what we saw before. So this is another way to look at that same thing to make the same decision about whether to keep or discontinue the product line. So there's really kind of two incrementals you can look at. A lot of these you can look at in different ways, but I just want to show you this one. To me, this one is just a bit easier. But the whole point is you still have 60,000 in fixed costs, but you're going to spread to the other two products. And you're taking away that 55 that was helping pay for some of your total fixed costs. Okay, yeah, you got rid of the 35, but that difference between that savings and that disadvantage, that 20,000 is now going to pull your company down $20,000 more. So no, keep the product line. You might want to look at changing some of the cost structure or increasing your sales volume or something like that to help compensate, but this is benefiting your company because this figure right here is positive. And that's benefiting paying for these if they won't go away with the product being discontinued. Now, if they all went away, that'd be a different story.